M skills. How to use M setup. What I really love about BMW M models is that you can more or less tailor them to suit your tastes. How does that work? To do it, you need to find the buttons to the left of the gear stick. The first button is below the DSC. It can be used to set engine management. If I push it now, I can see below the rev counter, it jumps up to the Sport mode, changes over to the Sport Plus mode, and the maximum proficiency from the engine management. And if I press it again, it goes back to efficient mode. Below that, you will find the button for the absorbers. We have variable absorbers here. That means if I push it again, it'll go up. Now I'm in Sport mode, so to speak. Push it once again, and I'm in Sport Plus mode. What happens then? We can change the suspension. When the absorbers are in the Sport Plus mode, we can really feel the turns. The car feels more agile when you turn in. The body sways less to the left and to the right. In other words, this is the mode for when you want to drive fast from point A to point B. Now let's talk about steering. That's the fourth button seen from above. If you press it again, you can switch back from Comfort mode to Sport or Sport Plus mode. Going from Comfort into Sport Plus, you can feel the change immediately. Steering may become more difficult. You can switch off the suspension control systems completely. That means we can completely eliminate our DSC, Dynamic Stability Control. We also have a medium mode called MDM, M Dynamic Mode. How does this work? Let me put it this way. The car simply allows for a little more lateral dynamics and lateral acceleration. In other words, the car can handle crosswise steering when the car is too lateral. That means when too much lateral acceleration is built up, it is measured using sensors and the car actively intervenes again. The DSC actively intervenes. It reduces engine power on the one hand, and on the other hand, it actively intervenes on the brakes, especially when it comes to overdriving on the front axle. The DSC button is located at the front left next to the gear stick. If you press it once, you're in MDM mode, which you can easily read on the instrument cluster. Just take a quick look at it. Don't worry that the DSC is not completely off in this mode. If you hold down this button for 4 seconds, you have selected what I always call the magic button. This means that the DSC is now completely off and you have maximum driving pleasure. The topic of driving pleasure is a top priority. That's a lot of information all at once. We can also make things easier because there are 2 very special buttons in every M vehicle. On the left-hand side, on the left spoke. One button is called M1 and the second button is called M2, which is more or less a memory button where you can store your own personalized setup for yourself. I always do it in a way that when I'm on the road with M models, in M1, my personal setup is to switch the gas characteristics to efficient. I like to turn the absorption characteristics into comfort mode, and I leave the steering wheel characteristics in comfort mode as well, so that I have maximum steering support. The suspension has nice agility, and in terms of engine management, it just slowly shifts up. No stress, you don't have to turn the gear so far. In order to save this, simply hold down the M1 key. Then a chime can be heard, and as soon as you hear that, this setup is stored for you behind the first button. The maximum driving pleasure is like that for me. The M2 mode, every now and then, of course, I'll have the gas recognition on Sport Plus right away, the absorption characteristics on Sport Plus, and the steering support on Sport Plus. Or I like to switch the DSC setup to the MDM mode and activate the M view from the head-up display and switch the drive logic to its maximum level. So the 3 bars should be visible and the manual switching process is activated. The setup is now stored in the system. Press and hold the M2 key until you hear the chime. So now I have my 2 setups. I have here my personalized car. 2 cars in 1. You can quickly switch back and forth between one or the other setup. M buttons. Whichever mode the driver selects is displayed in the instrument cluster. When the more ambitious, sportier driver has configured their perfect combination of settings, this can be saved for later use. The driver's individual profile is created in the iDrive system by holding down the red M1 or M2 button on the multifunction steering wheel for a few seconds until an acoustic feedback confirms that the settings have been saved. The stored profile can then be selected via the M1 and M2 buttons. With just one press, the M driver can instantly access their preferred performance setup. The 7-speed M double clutch transmission with drive logic, for example, offers various adjustment options. It enables the M driver to change gears quickly without the vehicle losing traction. It also offers sporty and comfortable gear shifts that support perfect acceleration and a dynamic driving experience. The Drive Logic button allows the driver to set the speed of the gear changes and when they take place. Engine characteristics. The driver can change the engine characteristics as part of the BMW M setup by selecting one of the preset modes: Efficient, Sport, and Sport Plus. Efficient, the default setting, is the most economical, and Sport Plus is the most extreme of the 3. In both sport modes, the exhaust flaps widen and the engine sound becomes much more intense, creating an accelerating natural soundtrack when accelerating. Damper control. The BMW M setup can be used to vary the damper setting, with 3 modes to choose from: Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus. With it, the hardness of the dampers is electronically regulated. The car becomes more agile through corners when Sport and Sport Plus have been selected, and the suspension becomes noticeably firmer. Steering characteristics. The Comfort, Sport, and Sport Plus modes are also available when adjusting the steering. The most striking difference between them is that the Sport and Sport Plus modes add significant weight to the M servotronic steering than Comfort, making the driving experience even more direct. In Comfort, the steering is lighter and more relaxed, fantastic for longer journeys.